Good morning, children. Today we are going to revise the topic nutrition in ruminants. Okay, what are ruminants? A plant-eating animal that brings back swallowed food into the mouth to chew it again is called ruminant, and this process is called rumination. Okay. Why we are studying this separately? Because their digestive system is little different from ours. That is why we study them separately. And the process is same, almost little different. The stages are same. First is ingestion. They ingest the food by mouth. They have strong incisors to bite grass and leaves, and they have also very strong molars to chew this grass and leaves, because they chew the food again. For that they have very strong jaw muscles. Okay, so food here after like chewing, and first they keep on biting the grass and leaves, and this food goes to the second place of alimentary canal, that is esophagus. This is the second part of the alimentary canal. First is mouth, then it goes into the esophagus. This is around 2 to 3 feet long, but no digestion takes place as in human beings. There is no digestion takes place in esophagus. Only it's a tube that allows the food moves from mouth to stomach. Now the third part of the alimentary canal is stomach. Their stomach is very special. Their stomach is very special. They have 4 chambers. 4 chambered stomach is there. Okay. What are the name of those chambers? First is rumen. This is very big, largest chamber. Children, in the rumen, first chamber I am talking about, from esophagus the food goes into the rumen. This is very big chamber of stomach. Here billions of bacteria and protozoas are there. Billions of. Okay. Why are they there? Their work is the food which is coming. They are eating leaves and grass. In leaves and grass, there is a special carbohydrate, very complex carbohydrate is there in the leaves and grass. What is the name of that carbohydrate? Cellulose. Okay. What is the name of that carbohydrate? Cellulose. This cellulose, the digestion of cellulose cannot take place in our body. Okay, like we eat leaves, spinach and all. Cellulose is there when we eat. It passes out as a waste from our body, but this cellulose, digestion of cellulose takes place in ruminants. The leaves and grass which come here, these bacteria, they act on cellulose. These bacteria and protozoa, they release some enzyme that help in the digestion of cellulose, and they convert it into simple carbohydrates. Is this clear? So here the partial digestion has taken place of cellulose. Okay. In rumen, what has taken place? Partial digestion of cellulose. Now, this partially digested food is called curd. What do we call it? Curd. Okay. This is curd. Now, this curd first go to the second chamber, that is called reticulum. Now this curd will go to the reticulum. From reticulum, nothing takes place in reticulum. Then from reticulum it goes back to first it goes to the reticulum. From reticulum it goes back to the mouth. and then they chew this cud again. The animal chew this cud again, and when you find that the animal is sitting and its mouth is moving, means it is chewing something. What it is chewing? That is cud, and this process is called chewing the cud. Okay. After that they chew it very well, then the food goes back to the third chamber, that is called omesum. This food from mouth then goes to the third chamber, that is omesum. In omesum, absorption of water takes place. What takes place? Absorption of water. Okay, the food, the cud which is coming, and from that the water is absorbed in omesum. Now fourth chamber is abomesum. Abomesum is the fourth chamber. Here the digestion of rest of the food takes place. Like in our body, the fourth chamber secretes digestive juices that help in the digestion of protein, and from here the food goes to the small intestine. The next part of the alimentary canal, small intestine. In small intestine, the juices from liver and pancreas, the food goes to intestine, and in intestine the juices from pancreas and liver, like in our intestine. Okay, the juices from pancreas and liver, they secrete pancreatic juice, they secrete bile, and they do the complete digestion in small intestine. Then the lower part, what is there for absorption? Absorption takes place, and villi are there. Villi absorb the digested food. They absorb the digested food. Now waste food moves to the large intestine. Then after a small intestine, the food goes to the large intestine. In large intestine, same manner, water is absorbed from the waste. From the waste, what is absorbed? Water, and the waste fecal matter moves out the body through the anus. So this is the digestion in ruminants. Okay children, thank you. Good morning children. Today we are going to revise lesson soil. It is coming till page number 122. Okay. First topic is our soil formation. Children, what is soil? It is, first topic is our soil formation. Okay. What is soil? The uppermost layer of the earth's surface is called soil. Okay, it is composed of mainly 5 things: sand, mud, rock particles, sand, mud, rock particles, minerals and humus. Minerals and humus. Okay children, 5 things are there main. So soil is made of these 5 things. How soil formed? By the disintegration of rock. What is this disintegration of rock? Is called weathering. You know, the big rocks, they turn into powdered form and formation of soil takes place. This is not a simple process. This is a very long process. Okay, and this process is called weathering. So what is the definition of weathering? Weathering is the disintegration of rocks on Earth's surface caused by exposure of natural forces such as wind, water. What are the natural forces? Wind, water, frost, roots of plants, So these and the and also weathering. Many other things are also there except this. So weathering we have divided in 2 parts. First is physical weathering. There are 2 types of weathering. First is physical weathering and second is chemical weathering. Physical means big pieces are turning into small one, and chemical, some chemical changes are taking place, means new things are formed. Okay, so what is physical weathering? In this process, rocks are broken down to form smaller pieces. It is a mechanical process. Okay, children? Okay, it is a mechanical process. It may caused by temperature, means increase and decrease of temperature. Second, frost. Frost is what? Formation of ice, very cold. Okay. Growing roots of plants. The leaves or the roots of the plants, they break the pieces. And also movement of animals. So these are the reasons of physical weathering. Now come to the chemical weathering. It is a process in which the existing mineral, suppose the existing mineral is calcium. Okay, now the weathered rock, it is going to form calcium carbonate. Okay, compound of calcium. So this is what chemical weathering. It is broken in which the existing mineral are broken down into new mineral component. It forms new mineral. Maybe other compound is there and it is going to add with other one. Now you have learnt about chemicals. So you can imagine that chemicals, they react with each other and they form some other thing. Okay, other product. In this process, the chemical nature of rock changes. Water is one of the main agents of chemical weathering. Okay, children. Now our next topic is factor affecting the soil formation. What are the factors that affect the soil formation? What are the factors? Factors affecting soil formation. There are three factors we are going to discuss. First is climate. Okay, climate affects the factor. Children, so what are the climatic factors? Climatic factors or agents of weathering are temperature. What are the climatic factors? Temperature, rain, wind. They play very important role in breaking and loosening of the rock. Okay, this is like physical weathering. Soil formation, children, how climate affect the soil formation, we are going to discuss 4 points. First point is that in the places which are having hot and moist climate. What kind of climate? Hot and moist. Children, in such climate, you know, in hot and moist climate is the soil formation is fastest. Why? Because in these places, these generally what places are hot and moist? Tropical places. Okay, there, due to the presence of heat and also moisture, you know, bacterial activities are very strong. Okay, and they form soil what? Very fertile by the formation of humus. Okay, on the other hand, just we see where the climate is hot but not moist, that is dry, like desert. Okay, there the vegetation is very little, so humus is also very little. Okay, rain is very little, that is why soil is loose. Okay, like in desert region, they are having very little vegetation and animal life, and so limited decaying material is there, so humus is less. Okay, the lack of rainfall leads to the formation of coarse textured soil. Coarse textured means like you can feel the particles in between your fingers, rough. And so in hot and dry region, like sandy soil is there, deserts. Now come to the third one. This is the second. Now third one, when the areas they are experience severe winter, temperate region or polar region, severe winter. Climate is what kind? Severe winter. There the bacterial activity is very little. So humus formation is also very little because it is very cold. Bacteria are not active in cold areas. Okay. Bacterial activity is very slow, causing dead plants and animal matter to dead animal and plant matter. They also building of these matter or turning into humus is also very slow or less. So soil in such places forms very slowly. In such places, formation of soil is very slow. Okay. Thus, the rate of soil formation and the type of soil formed depend on the climate of a place. Is this clear? Now, come to the second. First, we have discussed climate. Now, second is characteristics of the parent rock. Characteristics of parent rock. Children, if parent rock contain iron, then the soil is also rich in iron. Soil is also rich in iron. Example, Goa. If the parent rock is having calcium, then the soil formed from the rock, this rock, the soil is also rich in the same minerals. So characteristics of the parent rock says this. The composition of the parent rock also determines the kind of soil formed. For example, if the parent rock is rich in calcium, the soil formed by its after weathering, the soil would be rich in calcium. Now next is slope of land also plays very important role. Slope of land. Third factor is slope of land. What do you mean by slope of land? If the land is slopy, you know the soil deposition is taking place, but due to rain and wind, this soil goes down. And if it is not slopy, it is flat, then what happens? The deposition will keep on taking place. Here we can find thick layer of soil, here we can find thin layer of soil. Okay, so this is the effect of slope of land. Now children, we are coming to our next topic, that is soil profile. What is soil profile? Children, what is the definition of soil profile? A vertical section. Vertical means this. Okay. A vertical section of soil from the ground surface to the parent rock. From the ground surface to the parent rock. Okay. If we cut the soil vertically, that shows the different layers of soil or the horizons. We have divided the different layers in horizons, and that is called soil profile. The first one is your O horizon. What is this? O horizon, and this is very rich in humus because plant and animals, all the activities takes place here, and the formation of humus take place here. So this is dark brown in color due to the presence of humus. Second layer is what? That is a horizon. A horizon. It is we can say together we call this upper layer. Okay. Is the uppermost layer of soil. It consists of fine particles. Consists of very fine particle. It is usually rich in humus. Okay. It is usually rich in humus. and therefore dark in color. It is soft, porous, and can hold water. Okay, so this A horizon is soft, porous, and can hold water. Plant grow well in this layer. And O horizon is just above the topsoil, rich in organic matter. Okay, so we say A horizon is the uppermost, O horizon is the simple humus. Now next is B horizon. Okay, B horizon is very like thick layer, is rich in mineral that seeps down along with water. When water falls, the mineral come and gets collected here. Okay, rich in mineral, and the mineral seeps down along with water. It also contains compactly packed fine particles of soil. Compactly packed fine particles of soil here. And the bottom side we can see some pieces of rocks also. Okay. Now next is C horizon. Here we can see the rock pieces. C horizon contains partly weathered pieces of rock. Weathered means broken. Okay. Pieces of rock. Cracks and crevices are also we can see here. It is very difficult to dig beyond this layer because of these pieces of rocks. Then the last is R horizon, and that is what? Bedrock. Okay, lowermost layer, and mainly we call it parent rock also. That the upper portion is weathered and formed the soil, but this is what? Parent rock. This is what? Parent rock. Okay. The property of this rock is generally determine the composition of soil. This composition depend on the parent rock. That suppose it is contain calcium, so this is rich in calcium. Now children, our next topic is composition of soil. Soil is composed of what thing? Soil is composed of sand, all you know, clay, very fine particle, silt, like finer than sand and better than this clay, bigger than clay. Okay, their sizes are given. Okay, and it also contains sand, clay, silt, humus, water, and air also. Okay, so the soil main it is composed of these things, but the air is present there in soil. Air spaces are there, in that the air is present. Air is present in between the molecule of soil, but it is composed of these things. Okay, and their size, clay is the finest, less than the diameter of clay, 0.002, silt 0.002 to 0.05, sand 0.05 to 200, this is in millimeters. Okay, pebbles are there, pebbles are also there, and medium size pebbles and coarse pebbles are there. So it is given in the table, you can learn from there. Now children, we are going to discuss types of soil. What? Types of soil. There are three types of soil we have divided. That's sandy soil, clay soil, and third is loamy soil. So I am going to tell you about these soils one by one. Okay. Now first is sandy soil. I am going to tell you the sandy soil. About the sandy soil, more than 2/3 of sandy soil. In this soil, how much sand is there? 2/3 sand is there and 1/3 clay. Okay, this much is sand and this much is clay. And in clay soil, 2/3 of clay, two-third is clay in this, okay, and loamy soil about 2/5, like 2/5 clay, 2/5 is sand, and 1/5 is fifth of loamy soil is 2/5 is sand, 2/5 is silt, and 1/5 is clay. So this is the composition of loamy. What? 2/5 soil is sand, 2/5 is silt, and 1/5 is clay. Second point of difference is it is made up of large particles with large air spaces. Okay. Second is sandy soil has large air spaces and it has very little, and it has moderate, better than clay and less than sandy soil. Third point of difference is its porosity prevents retention of water because air spaces are more, so water goes down easily, and this it retains moisture and become very sticky because air spaces are very less, they do not allow the water to go down. And it has third one, moderate amount of water and air is sufficient for the plant growth. Okay. Now it has fourth point, it is well suited for fruits and vegetables, and this is good for making pots. Clay is good for making pots, and loamy soil is good for like gardening and cultivation of crops. So children, that is it, and you read the lesson carefully. Any problem is there, you can ask me.